Hi friends, welcome to my channel. One of the things we do here is review games that have art and themes that are heavily inspired by nature, wildlife, things of the like, and I have something very on brand for us today. Wizards of the Coast recently released their Magic the Gathering set, Bloomburrow. It is everything I could want. I've been waiting for something like this. Let's just say, it's like it was made for me. So for our video today, I will be unboxing and reviewing their collector's booster pack for the Bloomburrow set, and also opening up our bundle. I recently built my first commander deck, and I'm looking to include Lunar Bellow of the Woods, so hopefully we'll find that in one of these many packs that we'll open today. At the end of this video, you'll also see my experience at the Bloomburrow pre-release. I was lucky enough to be able to get these packs early because I originally ordered them on Amazon and it said it was not going to be released until August 2nd and I wouldn't get it in the mail until August 5th. Here goes nothing. Here's another look at the box. I really like the iridescent look of the outer cover. And first off, I want to say this was about $250. I spent way too much money on this. It's probably don't really need to get something like this, but I knew that this set was just too perfect. If I was going to get any collector's box, it would be this one. It's interesting that it doesn't say on the box exactly what you get. It says you can get rares and/or mythics, foils, full art seasonal basic lands, borderless cards bristling with woodland charm. So I think the idea is that with collector's boxes, you can get more mythics, especially the ones that you want, hopefully. There's only 12 booster packs, I believe. Comparatively, if you were to get like a play booster set, you'd probably get a lot more cards for about half the cost of this, but you're likely to get a lot better cards in these, and I think that's why some people choose them over others. This is my first time getting a collector's box, so we'll see how the cards look. The packaging is also very iridescent. And I'm just going to go ahead and full send open them and see what we get inside. So far, a lot of good foils. You can kind of tell already there's a lot of foils in here. I will have to say I do like the full lands, the full art lands. This one's not my most favorite of their full art lands, but at the pre-release I saw some pretty cool ones. Lots of foils. So far, almost every card in this first pack is a foil, which is crazy. 5 rares. And no mythics in this first pack. A few uncommons. Next pack we can get down and dirty with tearing these ones open. My friend has been wanting this card. They told me if I got it in my set, they would get it off me, and I'm not sure I'm gonna give it up. I'm sorry. Maha, it's Feathers Knight. This is a mythic, legendary creature, elemental bird. Flying, trample, ward, discard a card. Creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. A rat rogue. Full art. Look at that. I love the full arts. Maybe that's not called a full art, just borderless art. Frog druid. On brand. On brand. I love frogs and I love druids. What can I say? This one has vigilance. Whenever Clement the Worrywort or another creature you control enters, return up to 1 target creature you control with lesser mana value to its owner's hand. Frogs you control have tap, add green or blue, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. I'll have to look into that one because I feel like that one would be very fun to play. So I got 2 more rares in here. Another land. I like this mountain. Almost all of these cards are foils. That's just crazy. What would you guys do if you saw me just tear these cards by accident? Ooh, I love this foil token creature, this squirrel. I love everything about this set. I got another Lunar Convocation. I got this in the first pack I tore open. It's another rare. I got another borderless Valley Floodcaller. Flash. You may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, birds, frogs, otters, and rats you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. That's nice because then you can kind of have a variety of creatures. Rotcaller. Another rare. It has Menace. Whenever Valley Rotcaller attacks, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of other squirrels, bats, lizards, and rats you control. Raccoon Archer Scrap Shooter. I've heard some people say they like this one. Got a lot of these at the pre-release. I really love the plains art. And I got a lot of them as foils. I swear, if I don't get Lumra, I'll go berserk. Fish token, foil, beautiful. So I actually got Wishing Well as my pre-release card with the year on it. One of the things I got whenever I bought my collector's box and my bundle at the pre-release event is they gave me a free card, a legendary creature, 3-color mana, Flubs the Fool. I thought that was cool. Yeah, I got the stuff cheaper on Amazon, a little bit cheaper. I kind of feel like I paid for that card, but that's okay. Support local businesses. Oh my gosh! Mystic legendary creature, the elemental elk, borderless art. I love elks. This is perfect. When Beza the Bounding Spring enters, create a treasure token. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you gain 4 life. If an opponent has more life than you, create 2 1/1 blue fish creature tokens. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, draw a card if an opponent has more cards in hand than you. It's a 4/5 and it's pretty. That's all I have to say. Foil full art. This set is very generous. Ooh, I got a mythic. Did I say mystic before? I meant mythic. Please don't judge me. Alluge the Shoreless Sea. Legendary creature, elemental fish. I love that they're all elementals. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Power and toughness are each equal to the number of islands you control. Whenever Alluge enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. The first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs water or 1 less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on it. Any creature whose power and toughness is equal to the number of lands, islands, creatures, X things you control. You can build entire decks around just that alone, and I do. Really pretty. Got a Planeswalker. This one's a mythic. Ral Crackling Wit. Swamp Full Art Foil. Iridescent Vine Lasher. This one's beautiful. Borderless art. A mythic. Bellow Bard of the Brambles. People have talked about him too. Your turn. Each non-equipment artifact and non-aura enchantment you control with mana value 4 or greater is a 4/4 elemental creature in addition to its other types and is indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Camellia the Seedmiser. Legendary creature, Squirrel Warlock. Beautiful, beautiful. Menace. Other squirrels you control have menace. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Pay 2 to forage. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other squirrel you control. A mythic sorcery. Oh, there's different levels right here. You can pick 1 paw, 2 paw, or 3 paw. 5 paws worth of modes. So technically you could just do 5. I think that means you can do 5 of the first ability, which is put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. It gains vigilance and trample until end of turn. That is pretty OP, but I guess that makes sense for it being a mythic. And the other abilities is 2 paws is worth choose artifact or enchantment, destroy all permanents of the chosen type. Wow, that's crazy. And 3 paws is draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Someone I knew had this card, I think, at the pre-release. I did. Gale Wind Moose, beautiful. Beautiful art. I'm not as much drawn to the rabbits. I like the mice. I like the frogs. I really like the elks and the moose. The only reason I really want Lumra is because of its ability. It's a bit of a struggle. Festival of Embers. Rare foil. Borderless art. A rare legendary planeswalker. Narset. Parter of Veils. Another borderless art. 3 Tree City. I've seen a lot of people get this be good in one of my decks. I think some people are saying the price of this one's going down because of how much it's being pulled, but I'm not sure. 3 packs left. Bloomburrow, where are you? Show yourself. A rare legendary creature, Alania Divergent Storm. Borderless art foil, that one's beautiful. Yes! I also wanted this card, Fecund Greenshell. I'm gonna add this to my commander deck that I'm building. We'll talk about that in another video, but reach. As long as you control 10 or more lands, creatures you control get +2/+2. Whenever Fecund Greenshell or another creature you control with toughness greater than its power enters, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it into your hand. This will go great with my landfall deck. Legendary creature, Bat Cleric Zorlin Cosmos Caller. Come on. Let there be Lumra, let there be light. This one's nice. I love geese. Another borderless art. Flying. When Gilded Goose enters, create a food token. I'm not sure how food token mechanics work yet, so we will not be talking too much about that one. Manifold Mouse. Cool. I got a borderless art mouse card. Arthur Marigold Knight. This one's cool. Last pack. Lumra has to be in here. I don't have as much hope for the bundles, okay? But people have pulled them in the pre-release, so. Menace. Whenever the infamous Cruel Claw deals combat damage to a player, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card by discarding a card rather than playing its mana cost. Top of my library? I don't like sacrifices. Swamp. There's a reason I don't play that. Thundertrap Trainer. How do I get 3 Seasons of Gatherings and not 1 Lumra? This is gypped. The game is rigged. No Lumra. Time to unbox the bundle. A nice box. I've never gotten the bundles before, but one of my friends recommended it to me. I'm never not getting bundles again. Why not? Art. The bundles come with cool art. You can see the box is not just like a cardboard box. Has full art all over it. It's a relatively really nice box, it looks like. I should have got this for Kamigawa when it released, as well as Wilds of Eldraine. I bet I could probably still do it. They also come with a big dice. We love a good nature dice. Packs. Wait, guys. Wait, guys. I set one collector's aside. There's still hope for Lumra. Is it in there? Is it in there? I'm scared to look. Ant Queen. That's cool art. Another borderless art. Rootcast Apprenticeship. Another Fecund Greenshell, but this one's a foil this time. Swamp. Womp, 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 womp. Nothing. On to the bundle. I probably should have done this and then the collectors, but I had to know, okay? It's gonna be a little bit underwhelming. I also love rats. Definitely could make a rat deck. Ooh, cool art. I like this Plains. I haven't seen this one yet. They have them in seasons, I heard. Bird Dragon. Dragonhawk Fate's Tempest. Flying. Whenever Dragonhawk enters or attacks, exile the top X cards of my library where X is the number. No. Why would I want to do that? I don't like sacrificing. I'm not going to finish that. I don't like that type of mechanic. Every card in my deck is worth it. Guys, I don't think I'm getting Lumra. Ooh, another forest. This one's a foil. Valley Questcaller. Rabbit Warrior. Beautiful forest. I don't know what season this is supposed to be in, but beautiful. I would have thought this was a mountain because it's red. Not sure how I feel about that. It's a cool idea, but it does make it a little bit misleading. Does anybody know why they're packaged like this? I did not. I don't know what this is. Why is it wrapped like this? Anybody know? These are all the foils. Lots of foil lands in here. This one's probably going to be the same way. No? They're not foiled. They are a bunch of full art lands. Forest and Winter. I do like full art lands. The bundle seems very nice, actually. Not a ton of Rares and Mythics, though. I say not a lot of Rares and Mythics, like they're literally not Rares and Mythics. Azure Beastbinder, Rat Rogue. I like this one. This is pretty. That's cool. Shame, what a shame. We got so many great cards today, but just not the one I was looking for. More money I'm gonna have to spend. Overall, do I think that the collectors is worth it? They definitely had a lot of cards in there. Had planeswalkers in it. Almost every card I got was foil. So if you're really in it to get the rares, the mythics, the nice art, it's worth it. Like, they're not skimping you on that. Get the ones that you want. Hard to say. I'm not personally familiar with how much of each type of mythic or rare card there is usually in a set. Our own research. Did not get the collector's box just for Lumra. For me, it was worth it because I like this set so much. The bundle I also think is good if you are not wanting to spend a lot of money, want something nice to store your cards in, especially if you only plan to get a little bit from each set. It seems to have a lot more space in the box. This is all the cards I unpacked, but I still have this entire space to store all of my Bloomburrow cards that I just got this weekend. It also gives me these counter tokens, which is good because at the pre-release I accidentally threw mine away. I like these things. They're just kind of helpful to have. They're just nice to have. And then of course, as I mentioned, you get a really nice box out of it. So the bundle was worth it. So I want to talk about 3 different mechanics that this new set brings to the game. Offspring, Expend, and Gift. I'm not sure if there's others, but those are the main ones I know about. Offspring basically allows you to pay an additional cost to make an exact copy of that creature in which Offspring is on. With the exception of toughness and power, your token copy will have all the same abilities as your first card. Thornplate Intimidator is a rat rogue. It has Offspring 3. You pay 4 to cast this spell. Offspring 3, which means you may pay an additional 3 as you cast this spell. If you do, when this creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it. When this creature enters, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. As I said, I've not played a lot of Magic before. I've heard of the term kicker, and a lot of people compare kicker or Offspring to kicker. Apparently, though, kicker is a mechanic that's not used on creatures. It's used on non-creature, non-land permanent, or spells like instances, sorceries. My problem with this mechanic, terminology for this mechanic, they flopped. They absolutely flopped. They had a complete flavor fail with that terminology. I originally thought it meant that if you created a creature using Offspring, or a token, my bad, then that token would also have Offspring's ability on that card. Technically it does, but you cannot use it. You're not casting the token. You're not paying to cast the token like you're casting the parent card. And I get it. The token is Offspring of the parent card, but tons of rabbits and squirrels and rodents, things that breed like crazy. It'd have been cool if this Offspring ability could stack. Imagine if you could pay to have this make a token with all the same abilities. As it enters, if you have enough land, you could pay again to make another copy of that token. The reason that could be so OP is because the ability on this card is when this creature enters, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Now, I would not have minded if the Offspring mechanic had been more rare, even if it had to go so far as just to being a mythic only type of ability. I think it would have been so cool to be able to allow tokens to breed, or maybe if it was only for certain creature types. But early created a breeding set, why not let them breed like rabbits? You know what I'm saying? While it does have another cool ability on it, I would have liked to see something a lot more cool. They just could have done a lot more cool things with it. That's my beef with Offspring. That's my complaint. Sue me. They should have come up with another word, or at least made this terminology a little bit more rare. Another mechanic that this set brings to the table is called gifting. So you can choose to give your opponent a gift. Sometimes that's in a form of a token that they can sacrifice for life. Sometimes that's in a form of letting them draw another card. I think this is a beautiful mechanic. It's so on theme for this entire set to allow them to just give little gifts. It's very generous. It's very wholesome. And it's all so cohesive, not just with the theme and the art of the creatures, but the creatures themselves and the mechanics they brought to the table, the name of the mechanics they brought to the table. There's just nothing greater for Magic than when they create a set that's this well put together. One good example of a pretty OP card that they have in this deck is Cruel Claw's Heist. It's rare sorcery. Gift a card. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast the spell. If you do, they draw a card before its other effects. This starts them off with an extra card before you even get to do the ability that's on the card. Target opponent reveals their hand. So you basically just gave them a gift that helps you, because then they get to reveal their hand to you. And when they do, you choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If the gift was promised, you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. I used this last night at the pre-release, but the card I chose was one that allowed you to draw, if you paid 3 mana, you could draw 2 cards. I had a ton of land, nothing in my hand. So each turn, I could just, honestly, on the same turn, I could tap 6 lands and get 4 cards. I could tap my 9 lands and get 6 cards. That was a lot. And I could do that each turn if I wanted to until I got something that I wanted. Specifically, this ability at the bottom, I think could go great in a landfall deck when you have a lot of land. I've heard that that particular ability is definitely been in the game before. It's still really cool. It kind of enhances it a little bit more by adding a card to that pool of options that your opponent has is nice. Personally, like the gifting ability, and it gives you a choice. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword though, and I think that's very smart and clever. Kind of like a dagger to the back. Kill him with kindness, you know? That's very fitting, and again, on brand for this set. I like the gifting mechanic. I haven't seen all the cards' abilities, of course, that gifting works well with. I imagine it's a lot of the same abilities that they've had before, just gifting kind of gives a little edge to it. Kind of makes you pay up a little something too. The next mechanic that this set brings is expend. If you expend 4, meaning if you've paid 4 mana this turn, or whatever the expend number is, if you spent that amount of mana this turn, then there's certain abilities that you get to do on a creature card or whatever card you see that on. All this on my opponent at the pre-release. He had a creature card on the board that had expend 4 with an ability on it. This ability stacked with the other cards he enchanted his creature with, and this can be really cool again in a landfall deck when you're constantly expending cards. An expend 4 is relatively cheap amount in the grand scheme of how many cards you can have, and it's not even like you're paying to use the ability. You can be paying that mana on something completely different, and then it just so happens to trigger that ability on the creature's card. I'm not sure what all the abilities are offered for expend right now. I'm sure you could look them up and look up some more examples. I didn't see a ton of cards with it, but I saw a few. And again, a great play in something like Landfall. I am a personal Landfall fan, so I will always be looking for ways to enhance Landfall, and that is one of them that I think expend really plays well with. But something to play around with, just some ideas to mess around with if you have a 2-color or a 3-color deck and you want to run Landfall and Expend together. I think those would be great. And as I said, I really like the theme of this whole set, and I think it's great. Alright friends, I think that ends the video here. I appreciate you all for watching and checking out my first video. If you have any tips or thoughts on this set, please drop them in the comments below. I hope to make a lot more content similar to this, so stay tuned, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys again soon.
If you've never been to a pre-release before, they're pretty simple. Your local game stores will have them scheduled the weekend before the release of the new set. Sign up and pay for your cards, and it's really important that you have the Magic the Gathering companion app. You'll download this on your phone, create an account, and you'll put in the event code. This is how you will find out who you're competing against and where to sit when the tournament starts. But it will consist of 3 rounds with 3 games each. You'll play against your opponent, and best 2 out of 3 wins. I don't find them to be too expensive. Usually the pre-release events are anywhere between 20 and 40 bucks depending where you live. And I'm sure every game store does it a little bit differently. But they're fun because you can find like-minded players or just go to watch and hang out. I don't take it too seriously, I'm just there for fun and to crack packs. And I always appreciate when people are willing to give me a little bit of help and advice. With a purchase to participation in the event, you get a pre-release deck box. This deck should include a dice, some cardboard counter, a free card with the embossed year on it, and all the cards, of course, will be from the incoming set.
They got the same thing as you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but just different art. Yeah. Your art's cooler than mine. Let me read it.
You will have a certain amount of time to create the decks that you will be playing with, and usually the lands will be provided by the shop. Since it is 40 cards, it is usually recommended that you get between 16 and 17 lands. This means you'll have at least 23 to 24 cards of creatures and spells. I personally divide this in half, and I do half creature, half spell. When I say spell, of course I mean things like sorceries and instants and enchantments, non-land, non-creature cards. I only ever do 2 color because 3 color you spread yourself too thin. And I divide up the cards and I simply just see which do I have the most color of. Once I pick out my colors, then I start dividing each color up by creatures and then the rest by other spells. This helps me not get too set on a color ahead of time, and I know exactly how much I need of everything. Kind of lucky this time around, but I had exactly enough white and black cards to make my deck. And pre-releases, of course, are just a great way to get to try out new sets without spending a lot of money.
See if we get Lumra in here. Can you imagine though if I did? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Yeah, I don't even know what it looks like. You guys get to see it before me. Oh, a pretty swamp.
Hey.
A pretty swamp that doesn't even look like a swamp. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. I mean, I'm not reading them, I'm just looking for pretties. That's a pretty bunny one.
Oh.
And a foil.
Mouse.
Oh, you did? That's super cool. I like that mountain too.
Oh, my rare is a Valley Nightcrawler.
Oh, I got a mythic.
Ooh, let me see, let me see.
Husky, Bearer of Secrets.
Squirrel.
It's the Squirrel Commander. That one's really cool.
So again, I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful. Good luck on your next pre-release, and hope to see you guys again soon.